In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
I do not know what I want. Hi, I'm Officer Sullivan. Are you the person who called? Yes, I was robbed and punched in the face. So at this time, I would take it down his contact information, any information I need, and find out exactly what happened at the crime. Can you tell me exactly what happened?
Well, a man about 5'10" came and punched me in the face while I was purchasing a snack at the vending machine.
Can you describe what he's wearing?
He was wearing a black jacket, jeans. That's all I saw.
Okay, thank you. We'll get back to you and contact you with further information later. At this time, I would turn this report into a detective or a higher up in my department.
What do we have here?
Another attack, same as the rest. Victim was blindsided and then their money was taken, but this time the assailant messed up. There were cameras.
Alright, at this time, I would just contact the building where the crime took place to see if I can get the footage. If they don't want to cooperate, I could try to get a subpoena and get them and have them give me the footage by force. So at this time, I'm going to call and see if they want to cooperate. Hello, this is Detective James. I'm calling to obtain the security footage of an attack that happened in your building. Yes, yeah. Thank you very much. This footage will prove useful in my investigation. I will be later to get it. So at that time, I would just set up a time to meet with them and get the footage. This footage can prove very useful as evidence to make an arrest. If we can't get an arrest, I'll get a warrant for it, and then we can continue on to the next process, which is going through the court systems.
Go.
From what the detective was able to gather, we found out who it was. I'm going in to arrest him right now. Dan, you're under arrest for battery and theft.
What the?
Hi, Randy. How are you feeling today?
Much better knowing my assailant has been apprehended.
So now I would talk to Randy about how he feels about the situation, how he is handling everything. I'll also let him know the rights that he has as a victim and how I will be able to help him along the way. All right, Randy. I'll be by your side through this whole process of court and even after it's all over. I'll help you prepare for trial as well, and if you're too scared to talk in front of your attacker, I'd be more than happy to stand in court and talk for you.
Thank you very much.
Right now, we're getting ready to go into court. Cameras aren't allowed though, so we will tell you here what each of us will do inside the courtroom.
So during this case, basically, I would just reread everything that I wrote in my incident report, just so the jury and the judge would know. During other cases like this, when I would go into the court, I might just be reading off what I wrote on my ticket or other things like that.
For me, I would just go through with all the evidence with the judge and the jury so they know if it was all collected legally. If it wasn't collected legally, then the whole case could be thrown out and we lose, and we couldn't retry Dan unless he committed another crime and we obtained legal evidence.
In the courtroom, I could speak for my victims and witnesses that are afraid to talk for themselves or just feel uncomfortable explaining what happened to them. I would also be there for emotional support just by being in the room, simply with the victims and witnesses. If the victims or witnesses give me extra information, that I would also be required to testify with the information that they gave me. After we are out of the courtroom, I would still provide emotional support for victims and witnesses, and I would be there to talk with them whenever they need to, and even provide them with extra resources if they need it.
All right, now we're gonna go through and just interview each other about our positions to learn a little bit more. So we're gonna start off with Haley, which is a victim's advocate. All right, first question. What are the differences between adults and children in these cases?
Adults and children have very many differences in these cases. When I would be working with children, I would play games with them, ask them to draw pictures, to get them to describe what happened or like what they saw. With adults, you can usually just, talk with them and ask them. It's a lot easier for them to explain their feelings as well. Children, you need to like play games with them and like get on kind of like the child's eye level with them.
Okay, so like a classic example of this would be like Law and Order would be like the doll. You ask a child where they're hurt or something like that.
Yeah, people know that like on Law and Order, they like will get a doll and they'll ask a child like, where were you touched or hurt or anything? And then like the child will point to it on the doll like as themselves. They'll use that as like some of the techniques. I can also talk for children in court, which is more often than adults. Adults can usually have the strength to talk for themselves, and sometimes children aren't as credible witnesses because they can get under pressure, so I would talk for them.
Right. So next question. What do you do before and during a case?
Before a case, I would read the report, like from detectives, the police, from everyone, the attorneys. I basically am in between all of those people. I'll go back and forth, like listen to everything they say. I would also just like prepare myself to speak to the victim or witness who is traumatized. And then I would, during the case, I talk to them, I'm there for them. I go to cases, like the court cases with them. I explain to them exactly what is happening in their case, like all the time. Yeah, I'm just like a really big communication person.
Okay, and about how many cases do you have at a time?
At each time I have like around 5-ish cases. Some of them like vary from seriousness though, so around 5.
What kind of education do you need to get to where you are?
To get to where I am, I needed to go through university. I was a criminal justice major with a psychology minor. Did an internship my senior year of college, and then I worked for the state's attorney.
What kind of cases do you usually handle?
A lot of them are like domestic abuse cases, sexual assault. As the case that we just showed was just an assault case where the victim was hit though and also robbed. So that would also require me to step in because they might be feeling like really traumatized from being hit and also robbed at the same time.
And then last question, does every witness get an advocate?
Not every witness would be referred to a victim's advocate. Not every victim would be referred to a victim's advocate because some victims like aren't particularly, mostly personal crimes are what would be referred to me. Like if your dog gets hit by a car, I mean, you might be really sad, but you wouldn't necessarily need me to be there with you through that. So not everyone, just
the more sensitive
more
cases?
sensitive, yeah, more sensitive cases.
Well, that's the interview with Haley, so we're going to move on to our next one.
Our next interview will be with James about the job of a detective. So James, what other methods to build cases would you use other than the ones that you showed us today?
Okay, well, the one everybody is most familiar with is forensic evidence, which is where we go to the crime scene, clear it out of all unnecessary personnel, and then we go through and see what kind of evidence we can find. This can be DNA such as blood or fingerprints or shoe prints or anything that leads us to find a suspect.
Okay, so what education would a person have to take to become a detective?
Okay, well, you can pretty much get any kind of degree, but I'm getting a bachelor's degree in criminal justice sciences. You can get a psychology degree, anything that can get you to become a regular cop. That's where most people are going to start out. You can go into the military, anything give you any kind of experiences, internships, jailer, any sorts of things like that.
Okay, so do all detectives work the same types of cases, or are there specialized sections?
Most of the time, especially in like bigger cities, you're going to have homicide detectives, sexual assault detectives, detectives that sometimes work with just children, And all of these will have their own steps and procedures they need to take, but they're all gonna usually follow some sort of guidelines to collect evidence and handle the cases.
Okay. Thank you, James. Go.
Alright, so our next interview is gonna be with Sean over police officer and what you need. So first question, what are your daily responsibilities as a police officer?
So basically, day to day, you report to a department and you get briefed on the crime that's in the community, and then you get a specific patrol route or area that you need to patrol in your car, bike, or on foot. And then for the rest of your shift, basically, you're just entering businesses and patrolling the area and responding to calls and just basically responding to different crimes and trying to prevent crimes. And the thing that a lot of police officers in this area and normal respond to is domestic violence. That's like the biggest problem here. So you would just do different things to solve those problems and write different tickets, and yeah, basically that's it.
Okay, what kind of education?
So it ranges from department to department and state to state, but it ranges from high school diploma to college degree. And personally, I'm getting a bachelor's degree because it helps you with getting the job and it helps build your resume.
Okay, and I know you need to go to police academy, so what's the difference between the police academy and college?
So basically, once you're hired, you go to the police academy, and it's a strenuous course where they teach you everything about being a police officer, and you take different classes on law and firearms training and everything that you could possibly need to know about being a police officer. And that's where you basically learn everything. That's why you don't, in some places, you only need a high school diploma, because you learn so much in the academy.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.